So this weekend we saw American Made starring Tom Cruise, directed by Doug Liman.
And in this movie, it's based on a true story about Barry Seal, played by Tom Cruise, who's a regular pilot. He flies commercial flights, flies passengers everywhere. But then he gets an offer from the CIA to do work for them. And at first he's going good, he's doing a good job for the CIA, but then he gets involved with drug running and gun running, and a bunch of stuff goes down. And then we have a movie. I was really excited for this movie. I am a fan of Doug Liman. I like him. He's very good. He did the Bourne Identity, Edge of Tomorrow, so he's done some good movies. He's had some stinkers too, though, like Jumper. But overall, he's a really good director, and this movie just looked like a lot of fun. I'm a huge fan of like the drug running and gun running movies like War Dogs and Wolf of Wall Street and all those. Those are some really good movies. So I was really excited for this movie.
And I didn't know too much about this movie going into it. I didn't know it was going to be about some crazy stuff going on between the government and American contractors. I'm not the biggest fan of Tom Cruise, but I do know he's had some monumental movies like Top Gun and the Mission Impossible series have been massively successful. So I'm kind of acquainted with his work. I'm not a diehard Tom Cruise fan, so I kind of didn't know how I was going to feel about him being in this movie, but he did an excellent job in this movie playing his role, and I feel like he really made the movie what it was.
So this movie was surprisingly a lot of fun. I mean, it was more than just your crime movie. It had a lot of comedy in it, and it had a lot of fun scenes, and it was a really fun movie. It had just about everything, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had like romance, it had everything, and the acting was very good, the directing was very good. It was just a fun movie all around. I think people have a good time with it.
Yeah, definitely. And it really falls into that category that we're seeing a lot of nowadays, which is, well, not really a lot of it, we're seeing the rise of it, which is these kind of crazy drug-running movies, things like War Dogs and things like The Wolf of Wall Street, like he talked about earlier. And I really love that format because it's a great way to tell an interesting story that a lot of them are based on real stories, which I love because it gives a degree of legitimacy. But so it gives you that real basis for a story, but also because of the source material and the concept, it's crazy stuff going on the whole time. So you never know what's going to happen, and that's really the thrill of these types of movies. So I love them.
So the one thing this movie had to get right was definitely the star lead, Tom Cruise. I mean, he was good in this movie. I really liked him in this movie. This is definitely not his normal role. Sometimes he's very formulaic, but I've given that dude a chance a lot. He's done some really good roles, like The Last Samurai is very good, Magnolia. He has some depth as an actor, and in here he definitely shows it. I think the movie definitely would not have worked without him in it, and he's in every scene, and he works very good in those scenes. He's very good. He's funny. He's very good acting at these dramatic scenes. I mean, he's just good all around in this movie, and this movie definitely worked because of him. A large part of this movie on why it worked was because of Tom Cruise, and kudos to him. He did a great job. And all the acting is universally good as well.
Yeah, so one thing that I feel this movie definitely had to get right was the overall tone and feeling of it. It did it perfectly. It hit the nail right on the head. It's that perfect mixture of fun, of kind of being thrilled, being scared, not knowing what's going to happen to this guy doing crazy illegal things all over the world, who's going to come after him, what's going to go on. And you see a lot of that through this movie. There's tons of people out to get Tom Cruise. And he's such a lucky guy. I'm not going to spoil the movie, but you'd be amazed the way that he gets out of some of the situations that he does. So I feel like it's that mixture of comedy, of not knowing what's going to happen, and of this crazy story with a crazy cast that really nails it. It makes it an awesome movie.
So like I said before, I'm a fan of this director, Doug Liman. I think he's very underrated, and he directed this movie in a very wise way. He took a documentary feel to it. There's a lot of handheld camera movements, up-close shots, and I thought that fit perfectly for the subject matter of this movie. It was very documentary-esque-like, and it worked very well for this movie. And also the cinematography is very good. It has like the old-time cinematography, but it switches back and forth. The cinematographer does a lot of switching with the shades it does, with the color it uses. And it worked well for this movie. I thought the documentary feel and the cinematography aspect was very good, and it worked well with the subject matter. And I thought Doug Liman handled this movie beautifully.
And in combination with the cinematography, one thing that I love throughout this movie is the music that's used. In the opening scenes, you're seeing Tom Cruise as a pilot starting to really figure out his way around these crazy drug running routes. It's really cool. They're showing these wide open shots of the Colombian and Nicaraguan and South American mountains. And the whole time they're playing Mountain Jam from the Allman Brothers, which I absolutely love. So it gives you that perfect feel of that American spirit with all this crazy stuff going on. And then there's times where they're in these tropical resorts. He's dealing with crazy, crazy drug dealers. And you're getting this kind of happy tropical mood coming out of it. So it's really effective use of comedy in a crazy situation. And I love that.
So this movie definitely has some flaws. Not too many though. I think this movie was very good all well around. There's a little few flaws. Like in the beginning, they only really give like a 5-minute intro to Tom Cruise's life, and then they force the plot right into action. They really rushed the plot. I think a little bit. I think they should have given a little more development with his character, and they really just put him in the middle of it. And also his character is kind of like you kind of don't want to root for him in the beginning a little bit because he doesn't really question his morals that much. He just does it, and it's like, well, you kind of in the middle it's okay because he's rushing, he's getting all this money, it makes sense. But in the beginning, he's just like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. Like he really doesn't have any morals, and neither does his wife either. And then also the pacing, as you said, was a little off.
Pacing. But I mean, the pacing throughout the movie is a little bit. I feel like sometimes they spent too much time on things that didn't matter and not enough time on things that were really entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of scenes in this movie where you're seeing them fly in the planes and you're seeing all the routes that they're running. I would have loved to see a lot more time dedicated to the ins and outs of how these guys get through all the law enforcement agencies that are in their way. But a lot of it is just spent on him sometimes having boring conversations about just simple logistical things with the transportation of all the goods that he's running. But at the same time, I feel like at the beginning of the movie, his character's exposition was a little bit rushed, but at the same time, it's fast enough that you can get a feel for what you need to know, and you kind of make your own judgments as the movie goes along. Is he doing this for the right reason? Is he doing this for the wrong reason? You see his family start to grow and develop, and he gets married, he has kids, and he's starting to be a family man as it goes on, and it's that balance of him managing this crazy illegal business and him trying to raise his wife and kids. So it's an interesting display of those two different lifestyles for him.
Yep, so this movie was good. I mean, it was funny, it had some good drama in it. All around it was a fun movie. I had a blast with it. All the people in the theater were laughing. It was just a fun movie. It was a very interesting story for sure, especially since it was based off a true story and did have its flaws with the pacing and the character of Barry Seal himself. That was a little off in the beginning, but overall the whole movie was a lot of fun. I had a great time with it. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
For me, this movie epitomizes everything I love in a movie. It's got a great story, it's got an interesting cast of characters, great acting, awesome writing, really good cinematography, these awesome shots of big wide open areas. It gives you a really good feel for everything that's going on. So, with that being said, I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10 as well, because I just love it, and I think I'm going to remember it for many years to come.
So that gives our overall rating for this video a 9 out of 10. It's a very good movie. I definitely recommend seeing it. It was a very fun movie. It's definitely an out-of-formulaic role for Tom Cruise for sure. So if you're not a fan of him, you'll like him in this one. He's not in that action movie formulaic role that he usually does. Yeah. And it was a fun movie all around. I definitely recommend seeing it. It was an awesome time.
So that's it for our American Made review. Did you guys see it? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And also, if you have anything to tell us about our channel, ways to improve it, let us know as well.
Yeah, thanks for watching.